We are getting caffeinated. Let's go. All right, part 2 of this morning's drive. Hey, full self dog. You are strangely chill this morning. So chill it's worrying me. You did not go completely ballistic at those people. Nederland is such a great town. And I love that coffee shop, New Moon Bakery and Cafe, up in Nederland, Colorado. Definitely go there. Really good baked goods, great baked goods, and I don't just mean cannabis. Really good coffee, and you get that small town coffee shop vibe in there. It's like all the locals hang out. Just curious things on the pin board. I love it there. So we're just gonna hit up Tesla Superior as a waypoint. I don't actually need to charge on our way back home. Hey, that's good. The reservoir's frozen over. At least there's that, right? It's been cold enough. What it has not been cold enough for, unfortunately, is the reservoir up at Georgetown along 70 here in Colorado. They often host an autocross race on the ice, and I have never gotten around to doing it, and I badly want to. Really bad. But I don't think they're having it this year. It's just been too warm, and I don't think the ice is thick enough, which is a real bummer. never like being that guy who holds up traffic on these, on any pass road or canyon road. But I'm not willing to make an intervention to pull off. So we're going to go a little faster for this guy. I mean, this is reasonable. Oh, I can't believe I have 22,500. Yeah, sup, Judy? That makes me wonder something. Is there a law in the state of Colorado that requires a driver to pull over and let cars pass if a certain number of cars have built up behind them?
Yes. Colorado Revised Statutes, Section 42-4-1103 requires drivers not to impede traffic and to pull off the roadway at the first safe spot if you're slowing down following vehicles. It doesn't specify an exact number, like 5 cars, but many sources and drivers refer to a common 5 or more vehicles practice, especially on 2-lane roads or in mountains. It's more about not blocking the normal flow than a strict count.
There you have it. Unfortunately, the only traffic laws that police seem interested in enforcing are speeding. It is also against the law to cruise in the left lane, and yet I have not personally ever seen that enforced. And it really needs to be, especially in the mountains. Those drivers, right or wrong, they anger the drivers behind them, and people become increasingly irrational. And only Teslas drive themselves. So when people get hot-headed, again, they shouldn't get hot-headed, but if you are blocking traffic in the left lane, like, you're contributing to a serious problem. Let's record more shorts. Boulder Canyon is so damn cool. documenting for a moment, enjoy the scenery. I should go up Sugarloaf one of these days, and then Magnolia down the road here. Really twisty, narrow. Probably a lot like Flagstaff, actually. And that's another one I need to do again. See how 14 meets its priors, riding up a hill that's tight and narrow and twisty, and lots of cyclists on it. I'm going to do an experiment. I want to see how long I can keep my eyes closed before attention monitoring dings me. No, not really. The nagging seems to be a lot lighter. Like, it's not harassing me at all, which is phenomenal. I don't know yet about terminal areas. I think that when you're coming into your destination and it's crazy and chaotic, yeah, I think supervision is warranted in those cases because AI cannot read your mind. As good as it gets, you're going to have to communicate your intentions to the car, and you do that with this. Particularly if you're dealing with a parking garage or anything else that requires an interaction besides just navigating. And yeah, so like forcing the driver to pay attention in those cases, sure, that makes sense. But when we're talking about just cruising, even from the start, like very rarely do you ever need to actually pay any attention unless you're exiting like a paid garage, for example. But if you're starting out the drive, like you should be able to take a nap as soon as the car starts rolling. It's so good at this point. I've said before in prior drives that full self-driving is officially better than any human at operating a vehicle for the simple reason that it countersteers when you break the back end of the car loose in slippery roads, snow and ice and whatnot. And I say that because if you pick out 10 people and ask them, have you ever heard the term countersteer before? These days, I'd be surprised if it was 2. I don't even think, maybe if we're generous, 3 or 4 people might know what countersteering is, but it is certainly 1,000% less than half of people even know what to do when the back end of their car starts slipping, loses grip. And then of those people who have heard the term, how many will reflexively do it like that? And I think it's even less. So maybe half of a half if we're being generous. So I think that we hand out driver's licenses to anybody with a pulse these days, and we require no training. When I went through driver's ed as a kid, I actually got time on the slip pad and got very comfortable with how a car feels when you've lost control and it's spinning. And unless you are comfortable with that sensation, your reflex is going to be something stupid like standing on the brake, stabbing the shit out of that middle pedal, which you should not do if the car is hydroplaning or losing traction. You need to control with vectoring, and most people just don't have a clue. Full self-driving by now is extremely competent at doing exactly that kind of maneuver. Rant over. Let's upload another short. Boulder Canyon. right there, buddy? I guess not. Oh. The timing of that was funny, but poor dog is getting old and he's developed laryngeal paralysis, which really sucks. Full Self dog is turning 12 years old next month. And for a Labrador, he's in pretty good health at that age. How you doing there, buddy? You seem awfully calm, which is good. Less anxious there? Yeah? There's a Model Y to my right, and the driver has his hand on the wheel. Why? Soul doesn't look too bad, actually. Not gonna lie. That's a rather tasteful design. What a dreary day in Denver, Colorado. Holy crap. This is so blah. I wish Mazda made an EV and not a hybrid. Just hybrids are silly. Mazda has incredibly good taste with their design. We actually had one, and I also considered buying a Mazda myself. We replaced the CX-5 with the Model Y, of course, but they have, it's striking, and they're good at preserving simplicity. The interior is probably just like, it's somewhat similar, I think, in some ways, except you have the buttonology, all the plastic molded crap all over the place. But overall, as far as the legacy automakers go, Mazda does such a great job of restraining themselves with their design and keeping it simple and using a consistent language throughout. So I really have to give them credit. Unfortunately, that CX-5 did not hold up as well as we had hoped. That car started to develop some minor electrical problems, some suspension problems. Brake issues, which we couldn't really seem to get to the bottom of. Like, we bled the brake lines so many times, and it's still, when you push on the pedal, it was like mush. We could not figure it out. And then I got this car, and after having a taste of the sweet Tesla nectar, I urged my wife to let me replace her Mazda CX-5 with a Tesla Model Y, and we haven't looked back since. But I would not have been unhappy with that CX-5 in the long term. Really good car. Superior, Colorado. We're on Tesla's Wi-Fi right now. That's funny.